Yeah, thank you very much, Keshan Mahathya. So, as usual, we are going to start the Sutta teaching session. So, as you all know, nowadays, since we are in US and the time is little inconvenient for a long discourse and a discussion, so we thought of conducting a series of question and answer sessions. So, during the stay while in US, so if you have any questions related to the practice or any Dhamma related questions, then you are welcome to ask them, and then we can have a good discussion. And so I welcome all of you to raise hand and come forward and talk about the Dhamma related questions or any meditation related questions.
So Mara is raised the hand.
Yes.
Last two.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mara.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Bante, or good evening.
Yeah, good
Thank
evening.
you so much for helping us with our practice. I have a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is about the Eightfold Path. So I'm trying to understand the Vipassana practice within the Eightfold Path.
Mm-hmm.
How the right concentration, which is the eighth factor, and the right view, how they fit in. Is the right view the insight and the wisdom, and you keep refining that? And how does right concentration in the Vipassana practice happen? Because with Samadhi practice, you certainly can see they want you to get the jhana.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Vipassana, we are not aiming towards those high concentrated states.
Yeah.
So I just want to see how one then informs the other in the Vipassana practice.
Yeah, this is a very good question, and it's a very fair amount of deep conversation is going on this theme. So sometimes people are talking whether jhana is a must to achieve sotapanna or any kind of attainment, any kind of say a noble attainment. That is one argument, and some others are arguing no, it is not so, and maybe sotapanna sakadagami, that means stream winning, and the once returning stage you might not need the jhana, but probably after that means non-returner, anagami and arahant, they might need jhana. So another kind of an argument is there. And on the other hand, according to the suttas, we can recognize two categories of arahants. So we can say two types of arahants. One is called the Ubato Bhaga Vimutta, and that means he has the full capacity and he is completely rid of all the defilements, all the fetters, all the asavas, and at the same time he has the capacity to enter to arupa jhana and all the jhana in a way. So both areas he is a master. So that is the full-fledged arahant, but we call him as the Ubato Bhaga Vimutta. And there's another category called Panya Vimutta, where he too is completely free from all the asavas, influxes, but his capacity to attain jhana is very, very limited, and there seems to be no such mentioning his capacities about the jhanic attainments. So basically there are many arahants in that category. So Panya Vimutta, so they don't have any psychic powers, so any such what we call the reading others' mind, all these kinds of Pubbe Nivasanusajnana, knowing one's own past lives. None of these skills are with him, but still he is an arahant. So these are some interesting areas one has to explore. And on the other hand, when it comes to Samma Samadhi, so some people only think, okay, Samma Samadhi is the jhana, and there are few suttas telling or defining Samma Samadhi as the jhana. But there are other suttas telling Samma Samadhi is different and giving a different meaning and different definition. One very, very important sutta is the Mahachattarisaka Sutta, available in Majjhima Nikaya. So there, let me tell you the Buddha's words like this. Ariyang wo bhikkhave samma samadhing desissami saupanisang saparikkarang. So I am going to tell you the noble Samma Samadhi, the noble right concentration, and it is not alone, it is saupanisang, so it is having a sort of surrounding factors, supportive factors, and saparikkarang, kind of a group, and it's not alone. Tang sunata sadhukam manasi karota basissamiti. So I am going to tell that, please listen. So and then once the monks agreed, then Buddha mentioned like this. Katamocha bhikkhave ariyo samma samadhi saupaniso saparikkaro. So what is this noble right concentration with the supportive conditions and those right conditions? And there he mentioned like this. Say samma ditti, samma sankappo, samma vacha, samma kammanto, samma ajivo, samma vayamo, samma sati. Yako bhikkave imehi sattangehi chittasse ekaggata parikkata ayang uchati bhikkave ariyo samma samadhi saupaniso itipi saparikkaro itipi. Now what it means is that he is defining, or rather telling about samma ditti, samma sankappa, samma vacha, kammanta, ajiva, vayama, sati. So these are the 7 previous path factors. So he's telling imehi sattangehi chittasse ekaggata. When these 7 factors are well aligned in the mind, parikkata, so they are supportive and they are very much well prepared and they are well aligned, and then ayang uchati bhikkave ariyo samma samadhi, then it is called the samma samadhi. So that means when the mind is well aligned, well even minded, and when the sila, samadhi, panya are very much aligned, then it is called the samma samadhi. So on the other hand, sila, samadhi, or sila and panya are well aligned, then we can say the mind is well concentrated, rightly concentrated. That's a noble right concentration. So therefore, right view is playing a big role in that sense. So it is not a mere absorption without any kind of support of the wisdom. Instead, it has fair support coming from the wisdom, and that is why samma ditti and then samma sankappa are all factors there. You have to have the right view. At the same time, right intention is also included. So the mind is well equipped with the panya. And then the sila component is also there. That is vacha, kammanta, ajiva. So those are very much restrained, constrained. So he is maintaining proper conduct. And then the vayama sati, where the proper balance of the vayama, the effort, and the mindfulness is there. So when these all are coming to proper alignment, then the mind has to be well kind of clear and no defilements and properly equipped with the path factors. Then it is called the samma samadhi. So I can't see the person who has asked the question. So has she left? Moira, you would like to tell something?
I'm still here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead please. So you have any comments or any questions? Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, so in my practice, I'm thinking the view refines little by little through insights and through experience.
Right.
But the Eightfold Path doesn't mention wisdom or panya. So I'm thinking view must be the panya.
Yeah. So these are
getting better and better.
Correct. Now how the Eightfold Path is divided into 3 sikha, 3 trainings. Actually, the panya sikha has 2 components. Sammaditthi and Samma Sankappa, right view and right attention, right intention. And then the sila, the morality part, has 3 components: Vacha, Kammanta, Ajiva. And then that means the correct right words or right speech, right action and right livelihood. And then the Samadhi training has again 3 components: Vayama, Sati, Samadhi. The correct effort or right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration.
Okay. Yeah, so then there's more understanding of how the Vipassana meditation can still take you without the jhanas. But your example of the Arahant who doesn't have the jhana or other powers, can you have enlightenment with having both qualities, like jhanas and the Vipassana, or is that one excludes the other?
No, both are possible. That's why the very first category I explained, Ubbato Bhaga Vimutta, the one liberated in both ways. So Ubbato Bhaga,
okay,
so that type of an Arahant is the kind of the really skilled person who is entirely free from defilements. At the same time, he can attain the jhana and whatever maybe the psychic powers or such extraordinary type of skills are with him. So he is capable of both sides. Samatha and Vipassana, he has very much like being an expert, skilled in both ways.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, I was wondering whether one is exclusive of the other.
Because, no.
You know, because the teachers are the Vipassana or Samadhi practice. And I find myself in both, having a foot in both camps.
Yeah, we have to. One has to. So we can't ignore any side. We need to get some support from Samatha and some support from Vipassana. So that is very much like mentioned in certain suttas, like say for example in the Anuggahita Sutta. Buddha is talking about 5 supports: Sila Anuggahita, Sutta Anuggahita, Sakacca Anuggahita, Samatha Anuggahita, Vipassana Anuggahita. So our practice has to be supported with the virtues, the morality. It has to be supported by the learning, understanding the Buddha's teaching, and then it has to be supported by the conversation, discussions, and then it has to be supported by the samatha, that is the tranquility practice, and it has to be supported by the wisdom practice, vipassana.
And my final question is, with lay people not having direct involvement and living with the Sangha, is there a point in time in the Vipassana where you need more instruction or more support?
Actually, the whole path needs certain kind of a guidance, certain kind of a support. So I can't say that one can lead without any support. So that's why the Kalyana Mittata is something that Buddha really encouraged and appreciated and give the due place. So actually nowadays these things are anyway, it is not that you personally go to a person and physically meet him, but there are many possibilities are available. Books are widely available, Dhamma sermons are widely available. I mean, these kind of Dhamma discussions, Zoom sessions and all these kind of new technological facilities are all available. Actually all these can be considered as a type of Kalyana Mittata, because now in the past, say for example during the Buddha's time, so there is no these kind of facilities. So if you want to learn the Dhamma, you have to reach that particular person and you have to physically meet him, ask the questions, then the other person has to teach you, and likewise you have to closely associate that person physically. That was the only possibility available. But nowadays a fair amount of different other facilities are available, so that's in a way a kind of an advantage.
But then you have to have a lot of faith as a person who is not born Buddhist.
Yeah.
So the faith in your own practice as well as faith in the Buddha's teachings.
Yes.
Because sometimes we have doubt coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to have doubts, but you need to better, clarify those doubts.
Yeah.
And on the way...
I find this very helpful, having this kind of forum where we can talk about ourselves and our practice.
Yes, definitely. So that's why, I mean, clarifying... Actually, Buddha didn't encourage any kind of blind kind of a practice or blind faith. Rather, he encouraged inquiry. And so questions are, encouraged to ask.
Yes, thank you so much, Bhante, for your help to all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome.
So next I will give to Gita Mendes.
Bhante, I want to ask something that goes back to Moira's question.
Mm-hmm.
Because quite a while I have also struggled with this. I understand the idea of samadhi, understand the idea of mindfulness, sati, but I used to think, well, at what point and how does this turn into vipassana?
Mm-hmm.
And my feeling eventually, how I resolved it, is that with mindfulness practice, samatha develops anyway to some extent, and with that samatha and the mixture of that and mindfulness, it seems as if it already brings about attention to the impermanence, dukkha, anatta factors in one's experience. So I assume that that's the mixture of the two is how vipassana arises.
Those we can say as the conducive conditions for vipassana to start with, in a way. So we can't simply say when the the mindfulness and concentration is available by itself, the vipassana arises. So vipassana understanding knowledges are arising, but you need to kind of pay fair amount of effort, and then only we can say you are developing further and further vipassana. Now this can be understood by means of the bojjhangas, enlightenment factors. Now say for example in the Anapanasati Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, so Buddha starts with the sati sambojjhanga. So there also it is not the initial beginning type of mindfulness, rather he starts with the bojjhanga level, the enlightenment factor level. Mindfulness is a fairly matured kind of mindfulness. So there are when you have certain amount of continuity in your mindfulness, and now you have recognized as a faculty, as a mental component, skill within your own mind, now the mindfulness is present and you can recognize when mindfulness is not available and when mindfulness is available. So that such kind of a capacity is there with you, then one can say, okay, now the beginning of the enlightenment factor of mindfulness, sati sambojjhanga, and now you are developing that. And once you are doing that, certain amount of concentration may be available, and using which now you are supposed to do a investigation. So that is what called the Dhamma Vicaya Sambojjhanga. So your attention has to be paid or focused onto kind of natural phenomena, conditioned phenomena. So those conditioned phenomena are to be thoroughly investigated. Say for example feelings and bodily phenomena, maybe perceptions, maybe various mental formations. So all those are the ones actually we take as the raw material for vipassana. So more you investigate them, then you are starting developing of the wisdom. It's a very broad area where you are first of all you need to come to a fairly fundamental level of those phenomena. Now if say for example if you consider the body, so we typically have various bodily objects body parts, but they are still conceptual. Say hand, eye, nose, tongue. So all these are in a way to some extent conceptual, but you need to go more deeper to come to the constructed characteristics. So we can say the intrinsic characteristics of the body. So those are the 4 elements: Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. And so you reach to that very fundamental level, primary level, and there you are able to recognize the characteristics of the Patavi, characteristics of the Apo, characteristics of the Tejo, characteristics of the Vayu. Now this is where you are very much like landed upon the very fundamental level of the Rupakkhanda, the form aggregate. So till that we were playing with the kind of concepted or conceptual form of the form aggregate. What I mean is, now by accumulation of these 4 aggregates, we prepare a certain kind of an object, say a cup for example, and then cup has basically a kind of a shape and its own color and its use and all that, and now we need to differentiate that from the cup from a plate. Then we give a name to a particular shape. Okay, this we call as cup, this we call as plate. Cup is used to drink tea, drink water. Plate is used for eating rice or whatever. So likewise for our common use, we give names, labels, and we appropriate certain value. All that is there. So we were living on that layer. We were living on that conventional layer. We need to go deeper, abandoning this conventional layer and to the very, the intrinsic components or the contributing characteristics of this objects. There we find the 4 elements, and once we have reached the 4 elements, then we are able to understand the characteristics of those 4 elements. And then further, as you do further investigation, probably you may understand the common characteristics, the conditioned characteristics, what we call the Sankata Lakkana, conditioned characteristics, and then maybe the common characteristics, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and the non-self. Now this is how you are slowly understanding the true nature of the phenomena. So likewise, so in order to achieve that, you need fair amount of effort. And so the effort, mindfulness, concentration, all has to be well balanced. Then only the Dhammavicaya will start maturing, developing. And so that is how we need to understand in a way how the Vipassana point of view, from mindfulness, then Dhammavicaya, the investigation, then the effort. When things are well balanced, now you get the piti, then piti to passaddhi, that's the tranquility, and then the mind become concentrated in the sense now kind of a balanced.
Right. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to puzzle me. When does samatha turn to vipassana?
Yeah, actually here samatha is also included in a way now. Say for example, certain amount of focus, attention has to be maintained onto a particular phenomena in order for continuous observation, consistent observation. Say you are focusing attention to various feelings, and those feelings are changing, but still you need to maintain your attention on to those feelings without being distracted. Again, maintaining fair amount of scrutiny, fair amount of investigative quality in the mind. So those are actually all preparatory conditions. We can say all those preparatory conditions are part of samadhi, part of samatha.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. Okay, if any others have questions, then you can ask. So don't wait till still that you may be learning from someone else's questions, please come forward and ask your own questions. Then your question or your doubts will help others also to clarify their doubts.
Looks like Geeta Mende still has questions, so I'll just unmute her.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Geeta.
Thank you, Bhante. Do you want Yasalal to go ahead?
No, we have time. Nothing to worry. You can ask.
Okay, Bhante, I was sort of put on the spot yesterday when somebody asked me about Anapanasati, and they were saying that towards the end, when you're observing the breath, that phrase comes in: calming bodily formations, I breathe in; calming bodily formations, I breathe out.
Yeah.
So the question that I was being asked was that it's as if we have to deliberately calm the bodily formations with the in-breath and deliberately calm the with the out-breath, the bodily formations. And I said, that's not my understanding. I thought we're observing the calming of bodily formations with the in-breath. We're observing, noticing the calming of bodily sense formations with the out-breath.
Correct.
So which is it? Which way around?
Yeah, I mean, your understanding is correct. It is not that we purposely, deliberately trying to calm down any bodily formations. Rather, it will naturally happen as a result of your action. Now, if you consider the previous part of the Anapanasati, Sabbakaya Patisangvedi Asasisamiti Sikkati, Sabbakaya Patisangvedi Pasasisamiti Sikkati. So they are very much like you are carefully observing the bodily formations. So the observation is there. Say the Anapana, the in-breath and out-breath, you are carefully observing, investigating, you are restraining yourself and disciplining yourself to observe these subtle aspects. Interestingly, at another level, at a given moment, as your observation matures, these phenomena become very, very subtler and ultimately disappear. Almost like difficult to trace. Almost like, say, in-breath and out-breath, you can't even distinguish. To that level, they become very much like faded away. So that is the place we reach the fourth step, Passambhayam Kaya Sankhara. Now the bodily formations are calmed down. So it's a result of the previous step actually. It is not that you are purposely trying to tranquilize. Definitely you need to do a kind of a bodily support without changing the posture and without entertaining any doubts. So this kind of a restrainment is a must, because Sikkati term emphasizes that. So don't disturb the process. Now, when you are not disturbing the process, but still you need to do this investigation. So as the investigation matures, then the outcome is the calming down of all formations.
And that includes mental thinking and discursive.
Yeah, to some extent yes, but it is separately covered in the next sections. In the Vedananupassana and the Chittanupassana sections, those are separately addressed. Here we are talking very much the physical side. Now the physical component is fairly calm down, tranquilized. So that is the outcome of the Kayanupassana. And then we are step into the Vedananupassana.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Yasalal, you can ask the question.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
And thank you for the opportunity today. Bhante, I am I'm kind of going to share a kind of a scenario that I went through recently. In the sense, Bhante, there was some kind of, I mean, as a living as a lay person, there was some kind of commitment that was expecting from me, from my family, I mean the family members as well as the friends. And I have been reluctant to make that. The reason has been for me, like I realize those things are going to increase my commitments, number one, and also sensual, desires, that kind of things. It will increase those. Yeah. So I realize, no, I don't need it, because after all, that was something extra for me, which I have enough, and which I do not need. That's my understanding. But nevertheless, considering the family life, considering the lay life, and also the others' expectations, so I did at the end agree for that and did make the commitment, which is to me quite a big commitment. Nevertheless, I did. So two things. Currently, in a way, I feel more relaxed and happy because I could kind of meet others' expectation. And I also now feel like there was a bit of a pressure on me before that, which is not there now, and that is kind of helping my meditations and the other practices also. So yes, but so I felt at the end, even though, being the person, I realized it could have been mostly me that was holding this whole thing. So because of that, I agreed. And then after all the commitments are done, I also feel it seems not that bad after all.
Yeah.
I mean, of course it is a commitment, but I can still carry on with my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as bad as I thought, but nevertheless it is still a commitment.
Something similar.
I should know how you would like it.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Something similar situation last time, actually I can remember what Mahisha was talking. So when you are engaging with this kind of some activity, still you didn't feel much of a friction now or much of a repercussion, bad kind of a repercussion. Rather you are able to kind of balance yourself. Even though there's a commitment is there, your part from your side, certain involvement is there, but quickly you are able to come back, or quickly you are able to recover, or come back to the normal calmness of the mind. So that is where the resilience comes to the picture. So as we are moving forward, so it is not that you are completely deprived from the other activities, but still you may be able to handle other activities without much distraction or without much disturbance. In a way, we can say, while maintaining certain amount of mindfulness, now you are able to involve or contribute your own kind of activity. So previously we were too much distracted and the defilements have overwhelmed the mind, and fair amount of danger, harm being influencing the mind. But now we have certain kind of a buffer, kind of a reinforcement in the mind which can withstand this kind of a situation. So that is also something to notice. So, and in a way these opportunities are kind of tests for us, exams for us, how to verify where the mind stands now. Is it still very fragile and these situations are really harmful, or I can withstand them, I can handle them without much of a trouble? So that is something, in a way, we need to sometimes give it a try. So I am talking about the, within the framework of the morality. So it is not that I am encouraging any kind of harm, kind of immoral thing. No, within the framework of the morality, we can try certain activities, but at the same time, we can probably understand, okay, even though now I have contributed in that way, I can quickly come back to my calmness, tranquility, undefiled state of the mind. unstressed state of the mind.
Right. Bhante, but let's say this is not actual example, but if I give an example, to me, let's assume that I had enough clothes. So this situation was like buying more clothes. So far I said, no, I do not need more clothes. Yeah. But then I had to come to compromise and still get some more clothes.
Right.
Something like that.
Right. Yeah, definitely, because that is you are considering someone else's happiness, for example. Say someone else want to donate you, contribute you, and certain people are more concerned about such things. They have noticed that this person, even though he is neglecting these things, I have to be, consider him, treat him well, something like that. Then you simply, being flexible rather than very, rude and in a more stubborn manner. So rather, when you want to maintain some kind of a flexibility, so that your relationship will be well maintained, the other person become happy, then it's not a big deal for you to go ahead with such kind of a thing.
Yes, Bhante. Actually, that's where I am now. That is how I feel it also.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm glad that I did make the decision. As you mentioned, that was more to make people around me happy.
Yeah. Because we are living a kind of a social life. So we can't always rigidly maintain our vows sometimes. And it doesn't mean that we are breaching or transgressing any kind of a precepts. So those have to be carefully handled. So we can't compromise the sila in that sense. But if the request is not a harmful thing, then probably we can think of it, consider that. Thinking the well-being of the family, thinking the well-being of the relationship, probably it's something that we may have to respect.
Yes, that's it. Okay, Bhante, I'm happy with that, what I did, and also thank you for that clarification, Bhante.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's where I am.
Okay.
My understanding too now. Thank you.
Good. Sanai.
So next question is for Vital. Thank you, Bhante. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Bhante, I have a question regarding because when I started my I guess the journey, like I started with a bit of a different teacher when I went to start looking at Buddhism. And anyway, the views were a bit different. With one thing was more into Irvipada, that, and sort of I felt that might not be the most thing that I need to do. So anyway, what I wanted to understand, Bhante, is probably because I don't have that deep understanding of Buddhism, what sutras and all that. In Buddhism, is there a thing when you, which I actually felt this phenomenon as well, when you do Vipassana, Bhavana and all that, there's energy, like a universal, that you connect to the universe, right? So you become sort of one with the universe, sort of. Is there anything in sort of Buddhist teachings that sort of happens, or is that something not really aligned with Buddha's teachings?
Here also, we can't say it is not there. There are different ways that Buddha present it in a way. Now, say for example, through metta, so say loving kindness, say you can achieve some kind of a boundless, limitless kind of a mind state, what we call as the metta ceto vimutti. So typically what happens is we create our own world, our very narrow mentality, and then we are very limited. But with the practice, you may open up, you may completely abandon those boundaries, penetrate the limits, and then your mind become completely boundless and limitless. So that is, in a way, we are very much like connecting with the universe in a way, because there is no barrier, there is no limit, and you are very much like connected with the whole universe like. And not only with Vipassana, even in the Samatha, even in the Vipassana, the same approach. say Sunyata Cheto Vimutti, Animitta Cheto Vimutti. All these things are type of areas where Buddha is talking about the complete liberation, complete opening up, complete freedom. So there is no boundary. So the mind become completely free from any boundary, free from any kind of constraints. So Buddha is putting in that way. But attributing this experience to a self is the issue. Many of the other philosophies, many of the other religions attribute a self to this experience. So they simply say, okay, you were having a small self, but there is a very large universal self. Now you become that. You become connected with that large self. So such kind of an interpretation is not with the Buddha's teaching.
Okay, so I understand. So one thing, like when we do the bhavanas, for me now, like because I guess the way I do now is like mostly based on your teachings now. So I just go and do my meditation. Like I don't look at anything that should happen or might happen or anything. I just go and my main focus is my meditation. Like say my means like in this like what I do, right? If a phenomenon or something occurs that will occur, I'm not looking for anything. It's just that if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Is that maybe like a more, I'm not talking right or wrong, but it's more like a more correct approach. I'm just trying to understand, like rather than looking for something like Iddhipada or something or trying to attain anything, I'm more into like I'm going to do my meditation when I get or like or being in Satya.
Yeah.
I'm not, obviously not 24 hours. I'm not at that stage, but like slowly growing that path, right?
Yeah.
So is that more of a correct approach, like as you see, or is that something?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I can agree with you. So basically, that's the type of mentality that one has to have in meditation. I'm not an expert and I'm not having very big expectation either. So I'm just being mindful. I'm just trying to develop mindfulness. That's very much gives us a very fundamental, very earth grounded kind of a practice. Then as we are developing this, so the mindfulness may develop. The right efforts may develop, and then the Iddhipadas may develop, and then the faculties may develop, the spiritual powers may develop, the enlightenment factors may develop, and the path factors may develop. So likewise, so you can't, targeting a particular aim is not a bad thing. It will motivate you. It will give you a kind of an ambition. But having a strong expectation during the session might have a certain kind of a burden to the mind. Rather than that, assume that you are maintaining a kind of a mentality of a beginner. Okay, let things happen. I am just developing mindfulness. Okay, this is my session. Okay, now it's my meditating time. Like that, you are, without giving a too much serious mood to the mind, burden to the mind, you are simply developing the path. That would be more beneficial, appropriate, and maybe does not develop any kind of a strain through the practice.
Yeah, thank you, Bhante. And I think thanks for clarifying that. So I actually understood by my own self, like without, like that's my own understanding. That's why I came to that, because as I said, I started with a bit of a different teaching. So Bhante, one thing I noticed recently was like at one point, I think when you say Vayo, like what's that? There's the Patavi Apote Vayo. So I noticed in one of it was actually not during a meditation, it was just like when I was sitting down for certain thing, when I was observing, and suddenly became like all I feel is like all the airs coming towards inside me, like there was no sort of a self sort of thing. It's just that there was something looking down. I don't know if that's how to explain that. Like there's a sort of a smaller thing that was being or something that was looking down, but everything else around me was like, it's almost like you become, I don't know, filled with air. Like it's very hard to explain what I felt. Is that what you meant by like Vayo feeling, when you feel like?
No, the Vayo, the characteristics of Vayo, the air element is more into the vibrations, the movements.
Okay.
Yeah. The movement is one interesting characteristic of the Vayu Dhatu, what you call the air element. So it's moving.
Yeah.
I mean, your body is moving. It's become more flexible and vibrating movements. And again, actually, another attribute is considered as, say, rising and falling. Say, asasa pasasa, inhalation and exhalation, and all these kind of characteristics are type of the Vayu, air element. You may feel lighter even, but that is typically attributed to the what you call the earth element.
Okay, the earth thing. Okay.
Yeah, weight and the lightness are, the heaviness and the lightness are two sides of the earth element.
Okay. So in that sort of, I just wanted to understand a bit more. Sometimes you experience things, and I wanted to relate to what I from Dharma teachings. That's why I asked that. So in that experience, I felt like it was very humbling or like very unique experience for somebody who's like me. Like it was like I felt there's no real self. Like it's like a very lighter feeling. Like. And all the air, like but normally when you breathe in, you consider breathing, or you feel, you're taking breaths in, breaths out. This was like more like I connected with something sort of. I'm not trying to put words, but like more like the entire being is filled with like air, like sort of like you.
Yeah, that's a perception. That's a perception
free. Very free.
Yeah. Not a bad thing. I mean, sometimes we talk it about the tranquility point of view. Say, kaya passaddi, chitta passaddi. So, body become quite tranquil and lighter. Mind also become tranquil and lighter. So, rather than attributing it to the elements, you better need to understand, okay, when piti is there, so when the rapture is there, kind of happiness is there, contentment is there. So, the body also feels lighter, the mind also feels lighter. So, piti manassa kayo pipassambati chittam pipassambati. So, this is how typically Dhamma explains. So, when the mind become free from any defilement, free from any hindrance, so the body also feel lighter, the mind also feel lighter, and both are very much like feeling more comfortable, happiness, and say the sukha is there now.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sonali, you can go next.
Oh, thank you, Bhante, for answering this question. I have been meditating for a while, and lately I have noticed that when I sit down to meditate, my whole face feels really tight and like a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering when that happens, whether I should be... And I also feel the palpitations in my chest, like the beating of the heart and whatnot. And I'm just wondering if I should be watching the beginning and the end of that, or how I should deal with that. Because it's
better select this. Better select the vibrations, because the thing is, now all are present. I mean, different kind of phenomena are present in the body. Hardness, maybe roughness, maybe heaviness. And the other side, the lightness, vibrations, all that. I mean, these are different sides of the elements, but typical preference is to the Vayu element. So the air element, those are the movements, vibrations, those are easy to handle in a way. And we can learn the characteristics of the elements very easily, or we can handle them easily when we are moving into the air element. So that is why typically the first preference is given to the air element. But if you select the other side, now you feel that everything is very much like very say what you mentioned, what you feel in the face. Heavy.
It's like a rock. It's very hard.
Yeah, very hard.
And it kind of moves from the rock, and then I feel very hot in the body, and the heat is fine because I can watch the heat coming and ending.
Yeah.
But the face, when it gets really hard, I don't know what to do with it.
Don't pay attention to that area. If you pay attention, you feel more uncomfortable. That's why you better select the vibrations that will be more convenient for you to continue.
And just let the face, the hardness just be like that.
Be like that. I mean, slowly it will disappear, and you won't notice much about it, because your attention is more focused onto these vibrations, and it may be interesting, and you have something to observe, and slowly, even this kind of a rock nature of the face may even disappear.
Okay.
And on the other hand, you need to check whether you are maintaining any kind of rigidity in your posture, because sometimes without much of our attention, there may be some unnecessary effort we may be exerting to our practice, that you probably check whether you are putting unnecessary excess effort by maybe holding or crunching the teeth or something like that. You can check whether you are doing that. If not, you better, if they are there, then definitely you need to release them.
Okay. Then the other question is, at the end of the meditation, I usually sit for about an hour or so, and at the end, I end with just a few minutes of just Maitri Bhavana. I just spread metta. I'm just wondering, when you do that, I feel very nice. I feel very calm and very, very lovely when I do that.
Yeah.
But when you do that, is it just for yourself, or does it affect anyone?
No, before I answer that question, if you do metta, better start that first, and then you can jump to the recognizing this observation of various elements, because that would be more convenient for you and prepares the mind for a very smooth continuation of your practice. And that may be much better, because rather than you do vipassana and then jump to samatha, have some kind of a contradiction, because you are more into the realistic type of a phenomena, and then you are coming to the more conceptual area again by introducing samatha at the end. Rather, you do the opposite. Start with samatha, say metta, and make yourself happy and comfortable, and then slowly move to the vipassana, the observation of various element characteristics. So that is one thing. The other thing is your question. What do you ask?
Just when I do the metta bhavana at the end, I was just thinking whether it is just for the benefit of myself, or whether it really has an effect on anybody else.
Yeah, you are the most likely benefactor. You are the ones mostly benefiting, but there may be certain amount of contribution towards the other as well. Because when you being a kind of a good person, loving, friendly type of a person, then others also invariably affect, and they may feel your kind of loving friendliness, and they definitely will affect. And maybe on the other very conscious level, others also might feel your vibrations, or that good vibes that you are emanating.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. And the last question, I was listening to Bhante Ji the other day, and he was talking about the 4 types of people. And then he was talking about how one person needs to work on Nissarana, and the other person needs to work on Adinava and Nissarana. Can you just explain those 4 types of people and what those things mean?
I can't remember exactly which sutta that he is referring. If you can remember, let me know. But there are 4 stages typically mentioned. So one who is trapped in the asada. So I am just mentioning through my past memory. So I need to check anyway. So that also kind of mentally related, but not the person related. So there may be a person who is mostly enjoying the sensual pleasures, and he is more into this sensuality, enjoyment. So that he is only trapped in the asada level, so the entertainment level. And then another one may be in the asada adinava, that he may go through certain kind of repercussions, and he may be worrying about it. He couldn't have any kind of answer yet. So another type. But another person may be there, asada adinava, and then he know adinava on a different level, that he do some practice and has an understanding, okay, even though it has certain amount of entertainment, enjoyment, but still it carries certain amount of burden. Everything is impermanent, everything is unsatisfactory. So invariably you will ultimately become unhappy because of the adinava. And there may be another person who knows about the Nissarana, who knows about the freedom from all that. So I am just telling from the Dhamma point of view, but from the personality point of view, I need to check whether the exact meaning that the suttas are talking. I can't remember a kind of a sutta exactly immediately.
Okay. I think he called it Ugati
Ugatitanyo.
Tanna Pudgalaya,
Ugatitanyo.
Vipanya Tanna Pudgalaya, and Nyaya Pudgalaya, I think.
Yeah.
Those are the three. Yeah.
Uggaditanyo, Upatitanyo, Neya, Padaparama. So those are the 4 types of individuals. Uggaditanyo is more capable person who already has developed the faculties. He need a very small support from outside. Once that is available, he quickly blossom. He quickly make the mind free. Like say for example, Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Moggallana. So they wanted only a very limited support from the outside, and they quickly became stream winner or arahant, something like that. And Vipatisanyu, he needs little more clarifications, certain little amount of practice, and he takes little more time, and then he become again free from defilements. And Neya, further, he has to practice. He probably have to become a monk, or he has to observe sila for a long time and then develop the samadhi, and using which he has to develop vipassana. So he may have to work many years, continued practice, and all that may help him to be liberated. So that is the what we call the Neya Puggala. Padaparama is actually can learn and listen and all that. He may be putting effort, all that, but within this life he can't liberate.
Okay, Bhante. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take the last question. Yeah.
Dipan, you go with your question.
Theruvan Saranai Bhante.
Yeah.
I was there at the Boston retreat you had last weekend. Yeah, thank you very much, and I was very much beneficial with attending to that retreat.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to practice what you taught us at home. The Anapana Sati Bhavana, when I practice, I always find I struggle sometimes to focus on my breath and observe the breath like an outsider. So then I try to shift it to the loving kindness meditation to calm my mind. I just wanted to know whether is it a right way to do, or the way that you mentioned for that earlier question, do I have to start with loving kindness and then go for the Anapana Sati Bhavana?
Yeah, better start with loving kindness if you really want to. I mean, it is not a must either. Now, assume that your mind is already ready to continue with Anapanasati and there is no any friction, any resentment, any anger in the mind, and you are doing, I mean, the mind is already calm. Then it is not necessary to spend fair amount of time on metta. You can directly jump to Anapanasati. But suppose your mind is not really happy and it has certain kind of taken from the past incidents, what has happened at the office or something like that, then still better to do a little bit of metta, so that again you become little happy and calm, little relaxed. Then you can start Anapanasati.
Okay. Yes, so it's not like, that when we realize we are not focusing on breath or we are not observing the breath, it's shifting to another kind of meditation and then again do the Anapana. That is not okay, right? It's always better to be on one path. That's what...
Yeah. I think once you switch, now assume that you had certain difficulty and the beginning, so your mind is not happy and it was maintaining certain kind of resentment, assume that you did metta, and now things are appearing like okay, and now you switch to anapanasati. Now better stay with anapanasati, and if thoughts are coming, let them go, and you again come back to anapana, again come back to breath. Another thought may come, but don't worry, again come back to anapana. So try to familiarize or try to develop through anapana as much as possible. Assume that it didn't work, again and again the anger came to the mind, and you couldn't overcome that through anapanasati, and even though you did a fair amount of effort, then better go back to metta. And even that doesn't work, probably you better get up and go for a walk in a way. Because sometimes what happens is, assume that your mind is more with anger, more with restlessness, all that, and on such situation, immediately sitting might not work. Better do a kind of relaxed walking, and releasing those stresses to the outside, to the environment, and you connect with the environment, and you being slowly grounding yourself, earthing yourself, then you may be well prepared to start the sitting practice.
Okay, thank you very much, Hamdun.
Yeah, okay, then we are almost exactly at 10:30, so let me wind up the session, and I think Geishan is going to continue with the practice session as well by playing a recording. So I allow Geishan to continue with that.
So, sir, one quick question. I just wanted to ask this from everybody while they are here. So we'll be playing about 30 minutes recording sitting meditation session. And my question for you, for everybody's knowledge, what is the benefit we all do it together, or is there a benefit to do this sitting meditation as with their own pace? That's the question that I wanted to ask, and then once you answer, I can share this information.
Yeah, thing is that the group sessions are kind of an encouragement, because sometimes people at the beginning don't have much kind of a motivation or urge to practice. But when others are also there, and probably sometimes certain people are doing, now they switch on the video and they show themselves that all are kind of into practice, and they all are meditating, and you keep the computer on and they see that everybody is there doing the practice. That's a kind of an encouragement for everyone. So that has certain meaning, and it is necessary at the beginning. So that is my answer for that.
Thank you very much, Bhante. And I will share this link with everybody as well, what they have shared. So maybe you all can take it at some point in time. Copy this link and keep it for yourself.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Then I am leaving. Okay.